history. But how relevant are they today? And what will their role be in the London of tomorrow? Smithfield, Britain's biggest and oldest wholesale meat market, is the last of the Corporation of London's food markets still trading on its original site. Once the location of London's livestock market in the 12th century, it began trading in meat when this building was completed nearly 150 years ago. For decades, it went unchallenged as the sole supplier of wholesale meat and poultry to the capital, and with this monopoly, it could afford to play by its own rules.
I think the same as it was years ago. If someone had a go at one of us, and you had a go at 2,000 of us, could we all sit together? It's murder. If you ever come down the market and cause trouble, then you're in the wrong place. Yeah.
The customer service, although it's there, the political correctness isn't as strong here as it would be like in an office. Like, you know, we're lucky in that sense.
Today, the market's 42 businesses and 500 employees have to come to terms with a new world. Supermarkets and increasingly the catering and butcher trade now buy their meat direct from abattoirs, so Smithfield's dominance is in decline. And with the country in the grip of recession, it now needs its customers more than ever.
56.
But for some, it's hard to change the habits of a lifetime.
A kilo.
What is it?
One that's rolled up.
Look, darling, boneless, already in the oven.
They're boneless.
Boneless.
But how is it not? I don't want that one. Is it not? It's not like that, is it?
No, of course not. That was like that. That was like that.
Norman and Steve are salesmen for Warman and Guttridge, and between them have clocked up over 60 years' service on the market.
I want it on the pork.
I don't think I'm about to.
You want the pork loin?
Yeah.
The pork loin?
No, just say you don't want it like that.
Mixed with fat.
With a bit of fat?
Yeah. Because I always buy it.
You're always best to come on a Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah.
Is it open on Saturday?
No.
So why am I?
Do it all up.
Chicken. Long sleeve. Huh? Is it different? Yeah, I think so.
You sure?
I'm not sure.
I've been digging that out for you.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I think I buy it in Sainsbury.
Pardon?
I buy it in Sainsbury or Tesco.
Oh, OK.
It's the rudeness of some people. When you have a busy day and you're right under it, there's no manners. So they're clicking their fingers again, tapping the window, like Africans, for example. But it's not rude. It's not being rude to them. They'll just come up and go, how much? Like that. It's not the way it gets served in this shop.
It's mid-November, and the nightly deliveries have arrived, bringing nearly 400 tons of produce to Smithfield from all corners of the globe. Beef from Argentina, Africa, Argyll and Derbyshire, lamb from New Zealand, Yorkshire and Devon, pork from Belgium, Spain and all around Britain. Selling over the counter to members of the public and trading from the back of the shops with butchers, caterers, hotels and restaurants, Smithfield Market turns over around £750 million a year. Greg Lawrence joined the market as a trainee salesman in 1969 and has since become one of Smithfield's most successful businessmen.
We serve caterers, restaurants, butcher shops, anyone who buys meat, from the top level down to the pub on the corner. Daily basis, we'll cut 300 pigs, 500 lambs, beef. We try to fill the premises up every night, trying to put volume through. It's a low margin, low percentage on profit.
Unlike the supermarkets, whose meat is largely cut and packaged at the abattoirs, Smithfield still has a team of skilled meat cutters working at the back of the shops. John, better known as Biffo, has been butchering pigs for the last 37 years.
There's not a lot of skilled men on the market now. There's only about 20, 30 men on the market now.
The technique of the truly skilled cutter has hardly changed, having been handed down from man to man from decade to decade.
My grandfather was down here when he first opened up. When I had to queue up for a job, I used to queue for a job. There'd be father worked down here. You know, it's like family. Years ago, it was a closed shop. If you never knew anyone, you never got in the market. This is called an hand and belly. I'll take it off now. They have to be a certain size for the chops. We go 4 bones up, which is this. This is the neck end. That's the neck end. This is the loin. This is the hand and belly. If you're taking it off, double the joint, that's off. That's your belly, and that's where you get your spare rib chops from. Now, if you have barbecue, not spare rib chops. That's where you get that from. These is your necking. Then he's left you with the loin, which you get all your chops off of. Then you get your pork chops. Then it comes to your leg.
So everything gets used on the...
Yep, towels, trotters.
What do people do with those?
3 of these are a yard of meat. 3 feet. It's a good life down here. All the laugh and joke and whatever. I mean, Paul's been up here as long as me. To see the changes up here, you wouldn't believe it. Would you, Paul? Ain't the same market as it was years ago. I mean, I go up there one day, open my locker up, and all my clothes had gone. They left me an African war suit. The blue, green, you name the colour. So I put it on, I went home in it. Because once you bit up here, that was your lot. If they could get the better of you up here, they'd slaughter you.
With the modernisation of the market, the 21st century is bringing new faces and new ways to Smithfield, whether it likes it or not. At JF Edwards, single mother Dee is the first woman ever to take the 2 till 8 a.m. shift amongst the meat cutters at the back.
How long have you been working down here, Dee?
6 months, yeah.
How did you end up at the market?
I was a housewife. I was a stay-at-home mum for nearly 10 years. And I literally couldn't find no one would employ me. And I know John, our manager, and he said, if you want to come down and try it, you're quite happy to do so, and I've been here ever since. The amount of men is a bit daunting, first of all, really, but they're all quite nice, really. Very nice boss. He's very fair. They're all okay. How do I do here, Ken? Am I okay? Have you had women here before? No.
We've had a few salesmen.
Yeah.
But nothing on the backside, not on the actual physical side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the first. As far as I know, you're the first.
Yeah.
They don't like early mornings. They don't like handling bloody stuff. And I mean, it's heavy work. It can get heavy. So. And I think it was probably in the olden days it was a men-only domain.
Yeah, there would never have been a woman here. I'd have been sold as a wife, wouldn't I?
Sold as slave.
Do you think people would be turning in their graves?
I would think so, yeah.
You stop that right now. I bet you really could wait to do that, could you? My actual female friends are just, they think I'm quite inspiring for doing it. They're like, well done. Everyone I tell what I do, so they're a little bit shocked. Then they go, well, good for you. It's a good thing, it's girl power, I suppose, isn't it? It's all that kind of stuff, really, yeah. I don't really mind the shift because I'm awake all day long, so I can do the housework, see the kids, cook the dinners. It actually suits me.
So when do you sleep?
7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow night, yeah, for 4.5 hours. I get 25 hours sleep a week. Come Friday, I'm like that. I can't go anywhere, I can't do anything because I'm just falling asleep all over the place. But it doesn't really bother me because I'm working. That's the main thing, putting food on the table. I've got 2 children to support, yeah.
Is your idea to stay here and kind of try and build a bit of a career?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting out the front of the shops and selling stuff, yeah. Dealing with the customers.
And is there a chance that that can happen?
Not too sure. Who knows? I'm the only woman down here. It'd be a big thing for them because everyone else is a man. Excuse me, is a man. So, I don't know. I mean, I'd hope so, but it's so institutionalised, really, I'm not too sure. I'd like to say yes, but you never know, do you? It could be the one thing that holds me back, I suppose.
Breaking into sales will certainly be a challenge for Dee. As well as selling to those outside the market, some of the toughest negotiations are between the traders themselves, who buy and sell to each other so they can meet their customers' orders. Warman and Guttridge has a market monopoly on mince production, and for Norman, negotiating price with the other traders can test relationships to their limit.
Because you're £5 a kilo. I told you yesterday, you don't get it at 4.40.
4.40 yesterday.
Well, who served you?
Andy bought it.
Who's Andy?
My Andy came up.
Well, tell him I'll have to go. Who served you? If you ain't paying 4.40 the best mince, it's as easy as that. £5 a kilo. Right. I'll tell you what, you fucking moron. I'll tell you what I'll fucking... What do you mean? What am I doing? You want to get trapping? Get trapping, you. Don't fucking go. Look, don't fucking... You fuck off. Just fuck off.
Going up that way.
Sometimes things get to you and sometimes they don't.
He wants best mince for silly money. It's not the point. It's just a principle of it. We don't sell best mince under £5 a kilo. He's telling me he paid £4.40 for it. He was adamant, so that's what he got for his sauce. I don't think I'll serve him again. I might have lost him. Not that I'm too worried about it. So,
Norman's boss is Mark, who took the business over from his dad a few years back, after his ambitions to become a golf pro failed to take off. But establishing himself as part of a new generation, with new ideas for Smithfield, has been far from plain sailing.
When I first started out, Norman never gave me the time of day, not at all. But to be fair to him, you know, I didn't know anything. You kind of have to be here a little while and to know how you work and to kind of build a respect to these guys that have been down here 40 years to kind of, you know, earn their respect. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you can just come in here and just, after 10 minutes, everyone's going, oh, well, you're the boss, you know. I suppose it's like any job to a certain degree. If you're the new man, and especially if you're the boss's son, then you've got to kind of get their respect, really.
3 shops down from Mark, at James Burden's stand, new shop boy Anthony is trying to find his place in the hidden twilight world of Smithfield. His boss Jason believes he's worthy to join the ranks and is planning an initiation ceremony that's as old as the market itself.
He's been with us 3 months, works in a man's market, and because it's quite a close market, as you can well imagine, and we all work closely with each other, we've seen the same people day in, day out, and yeah, you form some good friendships, because it is an obscure place to work, as most markets are, and for a new kid, young kid as well, it's quite daunting. As long as he takes it like a man, we'll equally respect him for that. Everyone's been gearing themselves up with various rotten products, eggs and blood and offal, all bagged up, ready to go.
It smells lovely, I tell you that. Just need him to come out and we're going to get him. Mate, that is cold.
It's happened for decades. I've done myself many years ago, most of them be here.
I'd like to express my thanks to and with the sun in the morning, you're right.
You get people that I didn't even know come up to you and say, oh, well done for that, you took that really well. You start becoming part of their little family, I suppose. It's nice to feel like this is like a little home.
And what about the rest of your life? What about your friends who work at normal hours?
Well, it's a bit hard to sort of stay in contact because obviously they're working days, I'm working nights. I've got friends here now, so it's no big loss, I suppose.
Thanks. See you later.
Of the half-dozen women working on the market, almost all are cocooned in porter cabins, working as cashiers. Jo's been sat in hers for the last 3 years.
Once I actually got in my little cabin and I was safe, I loved it from word go. But you have still got to be a woman up here. You've still got to have that respect. And as I say, about 98%, they show me respect as a woman up here. And that's important to me. You know, I don't want to be treated like one of the blokes. But the banter's good. I like the banter. Loads of innuendo. But again, you have to stay one step ahead of it. And they know that they don't break the line. They know how far to go with the innuendo. And they tend to stick to it. They know the rules. So, and you lay them down very, very firmly.
How do you do that?
If it's inappropriate, you tell them. If they cut it out, that's enough.
Dee's duties, meanwhile, have been extended to include washing down the display cabinets at the front of the shop, which is bringing her into contact with more of the men on the market.
What's in my next picture then? Did you really take that just for me? You look beautiful.
You've got to give as good as you get, huh?
Yeah, down here you do, definitely. One of them, the man that was just showing me the pictures was him in a pair of red sequined pants and a Santa hat. And that's what the picture was. The other day I had one of him in a sombrero and not much else.
There you go, mate. Right. Thanks a lot.
Boom, 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 boom.
Santa baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me.
In the week before Christmas, the market is pulling in the punters, much to the relief of the traders who need to make enough money now to cover the lean months of January and February.
You think there's people ain't it for a year? You can't move out here. It's like it every year. But there's no money about it in the country. They keep telling us.
What do you think when you see people buying all that much meat?
I just laugh.
Do you think they need it, or are they just buying it?
No, they just, I don't know. I think half it's just greed, isn't it?
For Biffo's boss, John, the hoards are a reminder of the market's glory days, before its fortunes began to change, along with the changing face of London.
Going back to when I started in '66, it was a whole different scenario up here. I mean, the market was an absolute hive of activity. I mean, 10 o'clock in the morning, you couldn't move. There'd be barrows and people and lorries and vehicles. The place was a real hive of activity. But everything changes. The supermarkets, for instance, they don't trade with us now. I mean, back in '66, everything came through Smithfield Market. Certainly in the southeast and the home counties, every stick of meat, every ounce of meat went through Smithfield Market. And obviously the supermarkets are much bigger now than they were in '66.
Santa honey.
Do you like Christmas?
No, I don't. Ever since my mum died, I've got no interest in it, really. It's just for the kids, isn't it? Hey.
When did she die?
Mum died. 75 she died. My brother got killed when he was 14. On a motorbike. But you just lost interest, didn't you? You know, your mum was your best mate, isn't she, when you think about it? Let's get it off, it'll be 2 seconds. Just got to be going, never learn, will you? I said, no. I was always in trouble. I always get in fights and whatever.
When you first started here, were you still that way? Were you still angry?
No, when I started here, I was known as the steward of the black eye. It wasn't my left eye, it was my right eye. That's how I got my name, Biffo. All the kids used to laugh. There he comes. See what he's got wrong today. Not saying I won a all. Won a few, lost a few.
Have you mellowed out a bit now?
Yeah. I've got it now, I'm only 21.
With the hectic Christmas rush soon to be over, most of the traders are looking forward to a restful 4-day break over the holidays.
We are officially opening Christmas Eve, but I can tell you now, both of my companies won't be open. If we haven't made it by Friday, I'm not going to drag people here on Christmas Eve on a Saturday. Forget it. I'll leave that to one or two of our other more cold and hungry traders.
The annual Christmas Eve auction is yet another Smithfield tradition, originally created to shift stock that might otherwise languish over the holidays. It's a bargain hunter's bonanza, while at the same time generating a tidy profit for Greg Lawrence, the only Smithfield trader open for business on Christmas Eve.
Have the money ready. There's no change on these. There's no change. These are whole lumps. You cannot beat the value. One price only. Get ready. £20. One here. This end. One here. One at a time. This one is heavy. One at a time. One. Only one. I can only have one at a time. One price and one price only. £20 a bird.
Well, we're just buying for about 4 families and about 6 chest freezers. Meat for a year. So yeah. So we won't have to go to the butchers again for a year. And we're here every year.
Every Christmas?
Yes. It's a slick operation now. We've got buyers, we've got some carriers, and we're guarding the meat.
Do you use the market otherwise?
No, not personally, no. No, I mean, I don't.
Do you really think we need to use the meat market otherwise? We don't buy meat in the year.
£20. Come here, quick. Got to take the angry bird. What a deal. 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 One. What a deal. £20. Take it.
A seasoned market man, Greg's perfected the mix of showmanship and innovative sales technique that keeps the money pouring in.
If you win the toss, you get that for nothing. Nothing. If you win the toss. If you lose the toss, you've got to give me 20 quid. Who wants the bet? Right, here we go. Who's first? Right, that gentleman there. Ready? Now look, this gentleman's the witness on the call. Ready? Here we go. Tell. Give him a line of pull. That man there is the next man there. Ready? Here we go. It's a tell. It's, raise this up. Towels, give me 20 quid.
It's been very good Christmas, it's been an excellent Christmas. There's nothing better than taking the money. You've got to keep taking the money. Our motto is keep taking the money. If they're ready, they want to buy goods, we've got the goods for them. You must keep taking the money because we're suffering January or February because it's the quiet period. I think 2012 and 2013 will be very, very difficult. Very difficult. I think people will be more cautious in spending. I think they'll be more, not only cautious, more wiser in spending, and we're going to be in for a very, very difficult time. I really do.
As the new year commences, the refrigerators at Smithfield are in need of replenishing, and Greg Lawrence has placed an order for 320 of Devon's finest lambs.
Right, the lambs came in during the course of the evening. We've killed 480 this morning. We kill about 250 an hour, so they're all dead by 9 o'clock. Put in the chiller. Later on this morning, they'll be selected for various customers and loaded tomorrow morning and dispatched to Smithfield on Sunday night.
Peter owns West Devon Meats, an abattoir that's been supplying beef and lamb to Smithfield for over 30 years.
This lamb here is an ideal, the grade is a U3L, and that is an ideal lamb for butchers or wholesalers. Weighs 19 kilos, you can see how rounded it is, and it's just got the nice covering of fat on it. There's one there that is a bad conformation, in other words, it hasn't got the shape there, there's two there. Hasn't got the shape, there's no roundness in the legs, and that's in the breeding. We will pay less for them and I will sell them for less money as well.
With the season for new spring lamb just around the corner, the profit in year-old lamb, or hoggets, is slim.
At the moment, we would be paying £4 a kilo for it, and we wouldn't be making much more than £4 a kilo for it either. So we're reliant on the skinners, which is our profit margin.
So you make no profit from the carcass?
No, not at this precise moment.
That seems incredible.
Yeah, it is. It is. Unfortunately, that's the way the trade is at the moment. The offal's sold separately, the liver, the heart, and of course we've got your runner, which is sold as for sausage skins. That's all sold separately.
And what kind of money can you make for that?
That's my business.
As someone who's been supplying meat to Smithfield for the past 3 decades, Peter is well placed to see what its future may hold.
I think they're under threat with where they're situated to start with. Smithfield Market has always traditionally been in the middle of London, but I think as time goes on, then they need to relocate to the outskirts of London for accessibility, not just for ourselves, but for the customers to get in there. Be much better situated in an outside area, whether it be Kent, Surrey, Sussex or whatever, with accessibility for large vehicles to get to.
These are lambs that's coming from Devon, West Devon Abattoir. These are good lambs, perfect lambs, perfect shape. The price finds its level. It's all to do with supply and demand. Legs of lamb, for example, could start off this morning at $5.50 a kilo, and within an hour they could reach $6.50 a kilo. It all depends on the demand, and you get the feel of it. It's just like any other market.
Though a relative newcomer compared to Greg, Mark from Warman and Guttridge has been quick to learn how the meat trade works.
Everyone's got their own sort of margin that they work to a certain degree, but it really depends on what you've bought and what you can sell. Like some of the really expensive stuff, you don't make hardly anything on. You know, you're lucky to get 5%, you know, if you're lucky. On, you know, some of the more valuable stuff, like the fillets and some of the old strip loins, the ribeyes, that sort of thing. But obviously, where the country's in like a recession, and it does make a bit of a difference, people haven't got the money, so we've noticed this year that the margins are obviously lower, because you've still got to sell the stuff. To get it away, you've got to drop your margin a little bit, you know?
Apart from dealing with the squeeze on profit margins, the Smithfield traders are now also facing the prospect of a hike in rent in keeping with other central London properties. As far as Mark's concerned, it might be time to consider joining the city's fish and fruit and veg markets that have already moved to the outskirts.
I think we'll move to a different venue. You know, we're in the centre of London, there's great big Arctics lurking about, and it's not an easy place to get in and out of.
And what would become of this amazing building and all the history?
They'd make it into little shops, wouldn't they? Little boutique type shops, I'm sure. Rent it out for a fortune, and because the property's worth a fortune, isn't it? You know, let's not kid ourselves. It's worth, you know, big money. They don't. City of London probably don't want us here for a certain degree. I wouldn't have thought they would want us here. Making all this rubbish, making all this mess, making all this, you know, all this. They want it to be so it's not so busy. I'm thinking.
So you wouldn't be sad to go?
Personally, no. I'm sure some people would be, but no, because I could see the benefits of moving somewhere that would benefit our country.
But for others on the market, any strides to improve on the original Smithfield have been backwards ones. Steve Thompson, a beef cutter at Central Meats, has spent his whole working life in the London meat trade.
If you could have seen Smithfield before they developed it, or made it into what it is now, it was a much better market.
Why do you think that?
Oh, it was much easier to work. It was all open. And don't quote me on this, but I think the new market was designed by a woman, and it shows. Because she has not got a clue.
Why did you say that?
Because it isn't built for what we do. I mean, it's completely different from what it was years ago, but it's still a unique place as such. Eventually this place will go, and it will never be replaced. I don't think they'll be able to duplicate this sort of environment, you know. And hopefully they won't get a woman to design it this time. They'll design it properly.
Despite all the talk of change, Smithfield's been the one thing that has remained constant in Norman's life, and it's something he'll find hard to give up.
This is not like a job, it's just a way of life. Always been that way.
How long have you been a Smithfield man then?
May 61. 51 years this May. Used to be a shop in there, that tobacconist is there. Used to have an head shop, just used heads. Calf heads, lamb heads. And I said, any jobs? Got the job. Walked in this shop. All it was heads all over the floor. Just heads. All had the hair on, all full of blood and maggots and everything, you name it, it was there. Anyway, I picked one up, but I didn't want to touch it. Just didn't want to touch it.
After a life devoted to Smithfield, leaving it for a daylight existence can be daunting. With 42 years under his belt as a Smithfield man, Terry, one of Greg Lawrence's salesmen, is on the cusp of retirement.
Funny thing when you're going to retire. Oh, it's a bit scary. When I'm not here, I miss it. And when I'm here, I think, what the hell am I doing here this time of the morning? Mungo. Started off as an ump. I used to ump all the meat about, and I became a cutter. Then I was a salesman for about a year. And then I had a chance to own a business here. We had 4 shops. And unfortunately, I think I'm about 17 years, and I end up, we call it getting knocked. I got knocked for a lot of money, and yeah, a hell of a lot. And I just didn't want to carry on no more, and so we shut them, parted, and I come with Greg. Now it comes to the time when you can have it easy. I play golf, like gardening, but I don't know. I think I'll miss it after 42 years, but...
Is your wife looking forward to having you back on normal hours again?
I think so.
Who's the best looking here? You can eat the eyes.
While Norman and Terry have clocked up nearly a century's service to Smithfield between them, it seems the next market generation is lacking that staying power.
You get a kid of 17 or 18 who's willing to learn, I'm quite willing to teach them. But, you know, you get someone coming and just wants to piss around or whatever, then he's wasting my time.
And is that the problem? They don't really want to learn?
No, they're not interested. They want to earn a quick buck outside, or what they want to. You've seen them. As long as they get some shit up the nose or a bit of the old wacky back at them, they're happy.
At the start of a new week, the position, once occupied by J.F. Edwards' only female cutting room employee, is once again being advertised by her manager, Ken.
Is Dee around, Ken?
She's not, sir. She's gone. She left us yesterday.
What? Can you tell me what happened?
I think it was a pressure of things happening at home, as well as market life. I don't think the two go together.
What do you mean?
Well, you're working silly hours. You're working from 2 o'clock in the morning. So you're about when the kids are not, and then the kids are at home and you're not. So it makes it very, very awkward. And I think there's a few things that have been happening, and she got stressed out and she just thought that was it.
But for Dee, it was more than just the night shift that began to take its toll on her.
I just expected it to stop after I'd proved that I could do the job. I was quite competent. I thought that it would just slowly sort of eel off, and it didn't really. Yeah.
What sort of things?
One of them made me a bone in the shape of a penis. One of them showed me a video of his penis. One of them asked me if I'd like to go upstairs and have sex with him. Would I like to have an affair? I had all sorts of stupid little people touching me on my hip inappropriately, asking me inappropriate questions all the time. And these were supposed to be people that I liaised with, because they don't only work for our company. They didn't only work for the company that I worked for. They worked for other companies, and I was just supposed to just, okay then, sort of just take it. But after a little while, I think you find it a bit demeaning, really.
Ex-Smithfield Market, unfortunately, which is probably why there's not so many women. Dee was the only one that I knew that was working on the actual shop floor. You get a few of the cashiers that are female, but they're inside their little boxes, so they probably don't come face to face with it. I mean, I can imagine Dee going in whatever shop we went in was getting the same thing from all the blokes. I'll give Dee a G, she's still like, man, if she gave them a bit back. This is the way you got to be. There was a couple of comments that really upset her. And I went and had a word with one of our directors, and he went and had a word with the guy involved. Said it didn't mean anything by the comments, I won't say what the comment was. But he went and apologised to her and said that there was no hard feelings. He didn't mean her to take it personally. It was a bit of banter.
I don't suppose I minded it for a little bit, because I thought that it would stop, but it didn't stop. Yes. Yeah. And I used to say to them, how would you feel if this was your wife? And they'd all go, I wouldn't want her working here. I wouldn't like what is being said to you, being said to my wife. When you actually look at it, right, when you're there and actually when you think about what goes on down there, when you sort of take a back step about what actually happens there, yeah, they are a bit Neanderthal, they're a bit backwards. It's almost like being in a Victorian market, slightly. They could have transported the people really quickly and really easily, wouldn't they? Just had hooey onto a few things and we're packed there, some straw on the floor. It wouldn't take much, I don't think.
We're going to work fucking James Hunt, you are. Fucking asked you, beef or lamb, you eat lamb. Tell me when they've had that conversation.
Lamb head, you know lamb heads.
Yeah, give you fucking cow heads, am I? I'll feed drugs. What's that? You should have a brain so you can be a plant.
It's a funny place to work. It's not like working anywhere else, because you wouldn't get your human resources and stuff. People wouldn't get away with working. They wouldn't get away with talking to clients the way that they do as well. That kind of stuff, I think, is a little bit, not disturbing, I think it's shocking the first time you hear them.
But opposite Dee's old workplace, Ian, working the front counter at Central Meat, has a different view to her when it comes to customer relations at Smithfield.
You deal with customers here, and because of what they know the way you are, you can. I can be as rude as I want, or if someone upsets you, you can tell them where to go. Basically, if you tried it in any other place, the walk of life, you know, it's one of the things where it's shunned upon.
Like Ian, Steve Thompson believes that anyone familiar with the market understands it's an oasis from the PC world outside.
People that come onto Smithfield Market, they should know what they're going to get. They know what they're going to get. We have a lot of banter out there with the customers, and invariably they have a laugh and a joke with us. You get the odd one or two that take it the wrong way. A couple of times we've been accused of being racist, because most of our customers, like the Muslims and the ethnics, we have a bit of banter with them, but it's not meant in a horrible racist way. It's meant as a joke, something to break the ice on you know, when they're coming to see you.
She's coming back to you, mate.
Right, Steve, I'll grab a stack of each, yeah?
Yeah, I'll do a ticket over, mate.
I don't worry about other people anyway, to tell you the truth. I speak to people as I like to be speaking to myself, otherwise I have a word. Might be ignorant to people because they're foreigners, but it's a please and thank you, it's easy to say. And I always tell them and all, to work with the public's hard work anyway. It is hard work, it's not easy. You can't be complacent, but it's no good. You can't keep fucking, I don't know, having a go at people. You just tell them what you think and...
Smithfield has its own kind of...
Oh, yeah. There's no airs and graces down here. What you see is what you get. Don't like it, fuck all. 1 kilo? We don't do ones, yeah? £5 a kilo?
I sell them in pairs, sweetheart. £11 then. Now shut up, you fat...
My money is £10. I don't have...
Well, that's £11.
Oh, don't do me a favour.
I'll do you a favour, yeah. I'll cut them up for free, how's that? Talk to me, darling. Yeah? You found another pound of you? Funny that, isn't it, eh? £11, sweetheart.
That is small.
Yeah, I'll cut it for you, darling.
Why I'm run away? Cut it for me.
I will cut it for you. Oxtails, years ago they give it away. It shows £5 a kilo now. The population of London now, it's a lot more mixed. A lot of the Africans, everyone else, they eat oxtails. It's part of their culture. So obviously, the more customers you have of your origin, the more upsells you sell.
And is that who you're selling to for the most part?
The majority, yeah. It's very rare you serve an Englishman an oxtail. But probably sell more to oxtails than anything else on the front now. Yeah, it's part of, as I say, it's just a reflection of the population of London now.
As a business owner, Steve's boss Mark is well aware of how London's changed and the value of its ethnic communities to Smithfield.
If we didn't have them, there wouldn't be no market. Especially all the lamb boys, they really require all the Turkish people to do for the breasts and the shoulders, and that's a great trade for them. You know, we still sell loads of stuff to the Asian customers, oxtails and all that sort of stuff that they sell to, you know, everyone else. So really, you know, it is a big trade. It is a big trade. We need everyone, not just, you know, you couldn't say, oh, I'm not serving this group of people because the market needs everyone.
By early spring, Terry has finally hung up his Smithfield whites for good. But his wife Val has her own worries about becoming reacquainted with a man she's hardly seen for much of their married life.
He'll miss the market, but will the market miss him? I doubt it.
Really?
There's always, but life goes on, there's always another face to arrive down there.
That's a little sad, isn't it?
It is, but that is, perhaps I'm being realistic, I don't know. But that's how I see it.
I mean, it'll be interesting for the both of you to sort of have all this newfound time on your hands to be together.
That's what's going to be difficult.
You've been ships in the night for a lot of your married life.
Oh, yeah. Not a lot, really. You know, like, all my married life. She used to say to me, go to your second home. You know, which it was.
They're stuck in a time warp down there, a lot of them. They've not moved on with the times.
What about...
But there's not going to be a lot of people who's going to like what I've just said, but that's how I see it.
What about women, or...?
Yeah, it's a very male-dominated environment, and it sticks, you know, when you've been down there a long while, it does stick. They're very opinionated in a lot of things, and what Terry's come home and said, and this is where we have disagreed on a lot of things. Because I think there are a lot of all old... it's a different era of how they are nowadays, you know, totally. And I think there's a lot of them down there that are very... got a lot of old-fashioned ways.
I mean, the market is nothing to what it used to be. I think it will definitely move, and I think they'll have the fish market, fruit market, flower market, and I think they'll have more in one. Those who survive it will become very wealthy people. I mean, it's like it's an era. It comes to an end. The atmosphere's gone. I mean, if you ask them one day, they must say it to you. The atmosphere is gone. I don't care who says that. You know, you used to be able to see the people in the shop next to you when you was cutting, because the bar's up and you see, you know, they would talk to them. Now, it's like in a factory or a depot. Unless you're outside, you don't see no one. And if you're stuck on that block in the back there for, I don't know, 6 hours, you don't see no one. You know, it's not the same life. Well, for me, it's not put it that way. You know, it's no difference to me anyway, because I don't be there no more.
In the wee small hours of the morning, while the whole
Good morning.
World
How
is
you?
fast asleep.
God. I love the market, it's my life. I've done it for 35 years. You know, I've just been into like it.
Do you think you missed out on anything?
No.
I mean,
the only thing is if you're a young fella up there, just got married or whatever, it ain't the type of job that you want because you can have problems with your wife or whatever. Because the hours ain't going to adapt to a lot of them. Some of these young boys come in here 9 and 10 o'clock at night. When you've got a young wife indoors, they don't want to be sitting on their own all night, do they? You know, they just got married, and there've been so many marriages break up here, they're over it. But it's a job, you know. What do? You either want the money and the work, or you don't.
Does it affect your relationships over the years?
I've been divorced twice. You know, I've got no regrets. I mean, I'm not... just one of the things that happens up here. You know, life goes on. It's something you can't explain. Unless you work all your life, you can't explain the way you work up here. It's entirely different to anywhere else. This is just a one-off gaff.
Though its future on this site may be uncertain, for many at Smithfield, there's more to the market than simply bricks, mortar and butcher's blocks. There's also its spirit and the glories of its history. But for others, this focus on the past could be a stumbling block to the market's place in the London of tomorrow.
Well, it does need to change. What they do to get over that, I'm not too sure. Start selling other products, probably. Be a bit more nicer to your customers. Open during the day. There are things that they could do, that they could implement really easily to change things, but I don't know if they're really ready for all of those changes. They were always saying, oh, it's really changed down here. I think they preferred it when it was a bit more archaic.
To watch this and other great food programs, head to sbs.com.au/ondemand or download the SBS On Demand app for iPhone and iPad.